Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome back to another glorious custom map battle. Today we are fighting a 2v1 on the inner walls of Karak Kadrin. So this is a follow-on battle almost from our first ever custom map battle which we did on the outer bridge of Karak Kadrin. If you guys remember all that time back when these mod tools first got released, we fought a battle on the bridge outside Karak Kadrin, and now the modder has finally created an inner holding and it looks absolutely spectacular. I'm super excited to show you guys this battle as it was super fun to play. This was played on my stream where I got you guys to come play up against me. This is obviously, as I mentioned, a 2v1 battle, and yeah, you guys are fighting as the attackers and I am defending as the dwarfs, so it should be a really cool looking battle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run through the map itself. We'll look at all the kind of cool features of it. We'll then look at the army comments and then we'll jump to the battle. If you guys want to skip this and want to jump straight to the battle itself, then please feel free just to go down to the description down below and there should be a skip to battle button. You just have to click that timestamp and that should bring you straight to the action. So, for those of you guys who want to see more about this map and what it looks like, we will start off with probably one of my favourite features of the map itself. I love the way, you can't actually go out here, but I love the way the modder has kind of added in his previous map, you know, the bridge of Karak Kadrin, into his inner holding map. It looks so sick just being able to look out into the distance and think, you know, we were once defending out there. And maybe I'm going to do like a follow-up battle. Maybe we could do like a mini tug of war or something where I fight back and forth, you know, over a bridge and over this city with some of you guys or something like that. Would be really fun. So let me know what you guys think of that. But yeah, I really like that feature. I think that's really awesome. Then we make our way into, I guess, kind of one of the main entrances to the fortress itself. This is where the attackers go and deploy their forces. Which is kind of cool with loads of dwarven statues on either side, really bringing life. If we look to the right hand side, we've got kind of like a dwarven armory or forge over here to the right. Again, I really like this addition of these buildings. As I mentioned in pretty much all my battles, I love it when the modder takes time just to add in background features and adds in stuff which you may not use in the battle, but it still just brings a lot of life to the fortress. And I feel like he's done a good job here, adding in a ton of background features. This is probably one of the most, the biggest background feature as well. We have loads of little paths down here. Again, you're never going to go down here, and you're probably very rarely going to be looking down here. But when you do, I think it just looks so goddamn cool. And it just makes it feel like more like a battle and more like dwarfs actually live here. So this was really awesome to see, and again some really nice little features down here as again we make our way. We just kind of make our way around the massive caverns and we can see more bridges, more statues and stuff, more houses. I think that does look really cool down there. And again, it just kind of speaks to the scale of this city, which looks really cool. So we'll start off by looking at more of the map we will be using. So if we look from the attacker's point of view, they have two ways into the, I guess, the final stand of the defenders. They can move left through this swamp, and apparently all this mist is supposedly meant to hide units, which is really cool. At least that's what I was told. I'm not sure if it did or not, but this mist right here, which you can see in this swamp, is supposed to hide the units, which again is just really cool that he's kind of added in this feature. So we've kind of got this one-way bridge system. However, something I didn't realize, which we'll see in the battle, is the enemy can actually cross the bridge right here, or cross the water right here, and come out and outflank the defenders on the bridge, which is something I didn't realize until it was too late in this battle, which is kind of funny. So they have like kind of one bridge in and then two bridges to attack. And again, we've got some snow over here. I'm not sure how there is snow underground, but I'm sure the dwarfs will find a way to explain that. So that's always awesome. So we've got like a nice little forest here. Again, you can hide, do some setups, some ambushes, and do other stuff like that. When we make our way back over to this right-hand side, we can see we've already looked at kind of a defensive like forges and barracks around here. We make our way over here. We have kind of a one-bridge system going through to the last stand on this right-hand side. A nice little path up, and then we make our way over here. We have a bridge right here. And then as we make our way back, some cool statues, and we obviously have another bridge, which then leads into the inner wall, or the inner, I guess the inner sanctum right here where the last stand will happen. Again, if we take a look at this guy, we can see that there's a huge mask right here. This thing looks so goddamn cool. And if we click play quickly, we can see that it like sparkles and shit. That looks so goddamn awesome. We have some really nice artillery positions, which I love when modders do this. I love it when modders set up some really nice like artillery positions where artillery is supposed to go. I think it just makes the map look so cool, and it always reminds me of the trailers of when we first saw the dwarfs in Total War Warhammer, because them trailers depicted these massive Karaks where they just shot out tons and tons of artillery. It always looked so goddamn cool. So you got some really nice artillery positions here which are already being able to hit the main enemy lines, which is great news for me, that is for sure. Obviously got some cannons set up over here as well, so there's like 3 artillery positions set up. Then as we go back, we kind of have have like a nice little, I guess, square box right here where the defenders can set up a really cool looking last stand, which is exactly what I've done. Then obviously we have I guess the final keep back here, which again looks really cool. I'd love for the modder to make maybe another map where, again, when you look out, like where it's inside this keep, and when you look out of this I guess this gate right here, you can see all of this happening in the background as well. That'd be so amazing. And again, I love the way you can just look down and it's kind of got the crystals being held up from these structures. It just looks really, really cool. So overall, an amazing looking map. Let's go ahead and jump into the army comps, and then we'll jump straight into the battle. I'm going to go really roughly over these army comps because you guys kind of know what all these units are and do anyway by now. So we'll just kind of just have a good idea of what people are bringing. So the Orc player, who is commanded by Tengs, he is having a ton of these Night Goblin archers and warriors around this right flank. They can Vanguard deploy, so he wanted to kind of take these bridges and take control of that as soon as possible. Then as we go back, we have some of these Goblin Wolf chariots, which again is a unit you don't really get to see too much, but I imagine they're a pretty decent skirmish unit if you get them involved pretty early and get a nice skirmish component. Then we have some Savage Orcs, followed up by some Orc Biguns with silver experience. They are also supported by a Doom Diver. We got Grimgore, Ironhide, and then a pretty sturdy line of Black Orcs along with a Giant, some Trolls, and some Savage Orcs to go ahead and accompany them. Then if we look at the Vampire Count army, I was trying to say Isabella, but I got confused then. This is obviously commanded by Isabella. This is the new 3LC faction which got released. They have a load of scary Great Weapon Graveguard back here, all with silver experience. We have some Vargeist, and then the Regiment of Renowned Vargeist. We have Isabella on her Hellsteed, along with 5 units of Crypt Horrors. Damn, that is scary. I didn't realize there was that many when we were actually fighting the battle. 5 units of Crypt Horrors, and then more Graveguard with with bronze chevrons. That's going to make these guys really mighty. Then we also have a Claw of Nagash right here, and then some more Graveguard. Then if we look at my forces, over on this left flank, I have a load of Longbeards. I have 4 Longbeards, a Handgunner unit, a Runesmith, and a Quarreler. They are supported by some more Slayers back here. We then have some more Longbeards, 3 Longbeards over here, and then a unit of Quarrelers. So this left flank, again, is, has quite a lot of troops, but they are kind of structured in a way that they can easily get overwhelmed. Again, this wasn't a super try-hard battle. This was kind of to make it look more cinematic for the trailer, or for the replay. But we obviously were both always trying to win. However, I make a few mistakes in this battle, which we will find out at very soon. So then I have a cannon set over here. These cannons can actually hit the enemy forces very, very soon, or if not already, which is great. A grudge thrower set up over here, and then another grudge thrower over there. We then also have some iron breakers set up all along here, along with some hammerers. Obviously, we had to bring Ungrim, but it would be foolish not to bring him. And then we also obviously have hammerers, as I mentioned. Then on this right flank, we have more Longbeards. We have a Slayer unit. We have some Organ guns set up in a perfect position up on this hill just to slaughter anything that comes our way on this right hand side, and then more Longbeards, and we also have the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and another Runesmith. So let's go ahead and get this battle started. It's going to start off with the artillery fire as the soldiers move off into the distance. The artillery can't actually see where they're shooting, but I would like to imagine that they have a watcher, like a what are they called, the siege dude in the dwarfs. I can't actually remember what they're called. A siege engineer? Is that what they're called? I don't know. I like to see they think they've got someone up here spotting for them, telling them where to shoot. But I mean, I love these artillery positions where they're just hammering away at the enemy lines from all this distance away. I think it just looks so goddamn cool. Just seeing the artillery come flying in looks great. So this is going to be my first major fault in this battle, is I leave all this artillery undefended and don't really think about sending troops until it's kind of almost a bit too late. So it's going to allow the vampire counts to send over their Vargeist to just charge down these cannons pretty early on in the battle, and that's going to reduce a lot of my missile fire in dealing with them. Obviously, the cannons are going to change focus and start shooting at them, but this was just a huge mistake on my part, and I definitely should have had some troops here protecting these guys. I don't really know why I didn't. I did have a bit of issue with pathfinding. Like, I sent me Slayers to go defend the cannons a long time ago. However, for some reason, pathfinding messed up and they didn't get sent, which was unfortunate. But he's going to leave these Vargeist to feast upon my cannon crew. And my cannon crew did try and run away, but the Vargeist are going to find them. I loved how that looked as well, as the Vargeist just appear from underneath. And the Vargeist are going to be on these guys. I believe the Slayers are moving now. Yeah, the Slayers and Ungrim are moving themselves. And they're going to be trying to get over here to at least protect some more artillery. And again, a really smart move done by the Vampire Count player. He split up his Vargeist to hit multiple units. And again, that looks so cool, as they just like a pile up from underneath and go after the artillery crew. So that's already 2 pieces of my artillery I have now lost. Thankfully, they will come back and I will be able to use them. But again, I just lose these for like almost no reason. Luckily, as I said, I do manage to get them back. And these Vargeist have definitely paid for themselves, because the amount of damage that the cannons and the grudge throwers would have done as the enemy advance off would have been just disgusting. So as we look over here on the right hand side, we can see that these Night Goblins are just getting into position. The archers are getting ready to move up, along with more of the Goblin chariots, which are also pushing up to push through this swamp area and overwhelm the bridge defense. And again, I still didn't realize you could move men through here, and I don't think my enemy did either. I think he only found out halfway through the battle itself. The vampires are pushing up. I did actually make up my defense a little bit further up on this bridge. I did decide to advance a little bit. We have some Longbeards set up over here. And these guys are going to be here to try and slot the enemy attackers. Again, I could just really, like, realistically, if I wanted to 100% win this battle, I could have just brought everyone back to this inner layer. But I wanted it to look cool. I wanted us to have battles on, you know, all fronts. I wanted to make it to feel like a proper battle. So the Vargeist are going to continue on and hit these grudge throwers now. So that's 3 pieces of artillery I have lost. As I said, luckily I do get to use these artillery pieces again. I managed to, you know, take care of the Vargeist and then remount the artillery pieces. But still, they're not as effective as they was. I think I lose at least a couple cannons here and there. So these guys aren't shooting as best as they can. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pushing these Slayers over here, trying to bait out some more of these guys to come down and hit them, and then use my Slayers to take care of them. Ungrim is going to go after these Vargeist as well to take care of them, and try and, you know, if he can get into combat with them, he's going to slaughter them. Something I didn't mention when we were looking at the battle, I love all the destroyed statues we have here as well. I think they look really, really cool. So the battle is about to kick off here on the left flank with the Graveguard charging into my Longbeards. The Longbeards are always pretty sturdy. They obviously have a bonus in defense. They've got charge bonuses, which is going to give them a great, you know, great hold the line aspect or mentality in this engagement. And that's really all I want to do. You know, my main plan here is just to kind of slow down the vampire counts so I can smash the orc force, and then I can kind of revert my forces to try and deal with the Graveguard. Obviously, it'd be much better if I could be taking care of them right now. You know, if I could deal with all of these Vargeist now, my artillery shooting at them and just racking up so much damage on these guys, that'd be great. Unfortunately, though, that is not going to be the case. This Regiment of Renown, I believe, does pile down onto my cannon crew, which is very smart. Taking care of these cannons would be great. However, my Slayers are going to overwhelm them now and start hitting them hard. The Slayers want to do as much damage as possible, and, you know, the longer these Vargeist stay in combat with my Slayers, the better it will be for me. The Slayers will definitely hurt them in the long run. The right flank hasn't erupted yet. The right flank has erupted. We have our Longbeards on the front line. Even though they are being shot to pieces by the Night Goblins, my organ guns should be opening up now on this hill and doing plenty of damage. We are obviously receiving a ton of missile fire, though, from the Longbeards. They have to put up their shields and just try and hold and not try and give in to the arrow fire. We've got some Savage Orcs coming our way as well. The organ guns going out in the distance. And I love just how dramatic all these changes in the environments are. You know, on this far right flank, we're fighting in a really swampy area. But on the far left flank, we're fighting on like a really epic looking bridge. I really, really like that. I think it's a really nice change in the battle. So the Longbeards are now up against some of the Savage Orcs along with the Night Goblins. Night Goblins aren't really an issue, but the Savage Orcs are going to be difficult to deal with. The organ guns, however, are just ripping apart these Night Goblin archers. You can just see the pile of dead which is amassing from these Night Goblins, and I'm pretty happy that it is the case. If we make our way up here, we can see the organ guns have just a perfect view of them. And if it was not for me not realizing, if I had some troops here to defend here, the organ guns would be racking up even more kills. The Goblobber is shooting off many a rock and doing plenty of damage to these guys. Hopefully I can just hold firm and, again, not take too many direct hits like that. Now, if I would have, I guess I would have thought about it. I guess I should have advanced these guys up a little bit so that they're not really taking too much damage. Just going into the combat. Luckily, these guys are pushing across, and I kind of realized a bit too late. I moved my gunners up into position to try and take care of them. However, these guys are obviously full health, and the Wolf Riders are just going to charge straight on into my Thunderers. Unfortunately, they only just get a few more shots off, and these guys rip through them. Luckily, these Wolf Riders aren't really good in melee combat. However, on the charge, they do plenty of damage. I'm going to be turning around all of my missiles here to try and hit them, but they're going to be charging onto the Slayers. And again, this is just not the target I wanted the Slayers to fight. The Slayers aren't going to be doing great against these guys. I'd much rather the Slayers be fighting the Trolls or other units. And the Trolls are being pushed across. I think Teng's finally realized that he can now move soldiers across this little bridgeway right here. And he's going to be pushing his soldiers across. Luckily, I'm going to be kind of moving my own Slayers down here. You can see the Slayers are disengaging against the enemy there, and the Slayers are going to be doing perfectly against the Trolls. If there's any unit I want to be fighting with Trolls, it is my units of Slayers I have set up. So I'm going to be pushing back my gunners as best I can, and they're going to be sending so many of the gunners flying, and then the Slayers are going to be turning around and charging onto the Trolls themselves. And as I said, the Slayers are going to be doing a perfect amount of damage to these guys. The gunners are going to fall back as well and turn around and start shooting these guys. So I'm really hoping I can just do a really nice killing blow against this large unit right here. The Trolls themselves, though, are doing plenty of damage, I'm not going to lie. But several of these guys are going down. I believe they are going to rout as well from the field. Yeah, they are actually routing from the field, losing loads of HP. They got melted. The main engagement, we can see my Runesmith fighting hard. He is obviously up against Grimgore, so it's not going to be going too well for him. But I'm hoping the Runesmith can do as much damage as he can to Grimgore, just to make it easier. We're going to be committing the rest of our forces over here, so there's no real escape. We just have to kind of try and commit and do as much damage. I mean, this artillery as well is just hurting us so badly. I believe we did manage to take out the Vargeist, and we are about to mount up some cannons. Yeah, you can see right here the Vargeist were taken care of, and we're about to mount up on these cannons again to start hitting the Crypt Horrors. However, it was just such a bad move on my part. I definitely should have defended them, and that definitely did cost me several kills in this battle, several hundred kills I would even go as far as to say. The fight over on this left bridge is going off. I have my Runesmith here, boosting the morale of my soldiers and the melee attack. We do obviously have the Claw of Nagash, which is something I should have maybe focused down with my cannons. Trying to kill this early would have been great, because the amount of regeneration power that these guys are getting is just huge. And the same here, I should have maybe moved up these Quarrelers here and the Thunderers I have to start shooting the enemy lines, because the Quarrelers are shooting in shots overhead and hitting a pretty nice little line of the enemy forces. And I love the way, I'm not sure if this is intentional, but I love the way like kind of the bridge is like moving, like the terrain just kind of moves around. I guess it isn't intentional, but it makes me feel like there's like a spell going on right here, where the world is just like, this bridge is kind of like a bit encrusted with runes to help stop the enemy from advancing over. I really, really like that. So we're going to be getting some spells being cast right here. Oh, Curse of Years, that's going to be doing huge, reducing all my melee defense and also slowing up my units, which is not good whatsoever. Graveguard fighting hard against the Longbeards and pushing on. And I mean, it's not looking great right now. As you can see, a balance of power is not in my favor. However, the dwarfs are not going to give up easily. And as you guys saw at the beginning of the battle, I have all my elite troops like kind of festered up in this awesome final stand. And I mean, it's going to be great for sure. That's a definite right there. Again, I really like this as well. Just, you know, more passes around the side of the map, I think make a real nice addition. So the enemy have pushed through this pass right here, and it's up to the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass to do as much damage to these guys as possible. I believe I'm going to be turning around my organ gun any second now, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. The organ guns have turned around, and they are shooting as best as they can against the Savage Orcs, which are pushing on our flanks, or the Orc Big Guns, I should say, along with the Quarrelers. The Slayers have been caught up against them, and they're going to be getting killed, which is unfortunate. Because as you guys can see, we have more giants or more trolls moving in, and having some Slayers to deal with them would be great. We have some Longbeards charging in again. You never really want to be charging in your units as the dwarfs, because you get charge defense against everyone. But I felt like it was needed just to go ahead and give these Thunderers a bit more time shooting at the trolls. But my defense on this right flank is just getting absolutely crushed now. The fact that I didn't realise that there was a path around here had absolutely screwed me in this battle. If I would have known that I could have, you know, defended that, and then I would have been able to hold the Orc force here much more effectively. But unfortunately, I just didn't notice it, which was obviously completely my bad. Something I should have saw and obviously plugged up, because I definitely had the units to hold that. If we look over here, we can see that my Longbeards are actually pushing on, which is great. We've actually managed to push back the York threat here. And they're going to be fighting on, or are they routing? I think they're routing. Yeah, they're routing. The cowards. Dwarfs do not rout from battle. There's many a knife going to be created today. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass doing pretty decently considering they're up against these trolls and savage orcs. So I'm pretty impressed with the way they're holding. However, they're about to be surrounded very soon. My Longbeards, as well as fighting these big ones, are about to get flanked. I think I do have some artillery set up over here. Yeah, I do have some artillery set up right here, and they're going to be shooting out. So I did manage to get some of my artillery back, but again, that was just such a big mistake by me by giving up that artillery early. But these Grudge Trolls are going to be finding, you know, decent shots off here into the enemy lines. You can see they're hitting the Black Orcs, trying to whittle their HP down as best as they can, as these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass do decide to rout. I believe the Organ Guns are about to get overwhelmed. The Organ Guns are about to get, I think they're reforming, but they're about to be destroyed as we got Chariots and the Orc Shaman as well moving up. I think I have a few more crossbows, yeah, a few more Quarrelers shooting out, but, you know, this defense on the right-hand side is pretty much lost. If we make our way over to the left-hand side now, we can see that I believe I've given the order for my forces to start retreating. I'm bringing back some soldiers here. What are we bringing back? We're bringing back some Thunderers because I feel like I'll just be able to use them much more effectively. And we're also deciding to tactically withdraw these Longbeards just to help my final defense, as this defense on the far left is starting to get destroyed as well, as the Crypt Horrors continue to charge on with some zombies on their front and some the Claw and a Gash in the back. These dwarfs are just marching away. You goddamn fools, flee for your lives! The Quarrelers, though, do not want to run. I thought these were running, honestly, if I'm honest, but unfortunately they were not. And I'm still just admiring how nice this map does look. This is one of my favourite maps, I think, so far in Warhammer. This looks great. I know I say that every single map, but this one definitely is. And I know I say that every map as well. So the Dowie were defeated on this right-hand side bridge, which is going to allow the undead to keep on their push. I mean, they did manage to kill a ton of these units. Also, a really nice move right here. They managed to raise dead over on my artillery crew here. This artillery did actually manage to take down quite a few Crypt Horrors, so they weren't completely useless. However, I definitely should have defended them a ton more. They did manage to do quite a bit of damage to one of the Crypt Horror units, but they could have done so much more. Unfortunately, they were overwhelmed by these zombies when the raised dead came out, and my siege crew is going to try and run away as fast as they can. On this right-hand side, you can see that my forces have been completely annihilated now. I don't think there is any troops whatsoever left remaining. So yeah, there's no dwarfs here whatsoever. And we can kind of take this moment just to kind of look at all the dead here. I feel like my dwarfs did a great stand here. They definitely killed a load of enemy forces. You can also see right here, just my impending doom as all my troops retreat back. But I mean, we have our elite troops back in the line. Balance power is definitely against us, but you know, we kill the enemy lords, we can definitely have a chance of winning this. We can, you know, cause a mass crumble and a mass rout. So I definitely don't feel like this battle is lost so far, that is for sure. So we got loads of dead here. The artillery definitely racked up kills against me. Maybe I should have got these guys in the combat a lot sooner. If I would have known that you could have used this path, I would have used like at least 2 of these units to move around the flank to stop them, and my organ gun would have killed so many more. The organ gun in this game just does so much fucking damage, and I definitely should have used that more effectively. Yorks are pushing on now, round this left flank, through the woods, and into our final stand. So, you know, my plan as well was to kind of overwhelm one side and hold up the enemy on one side as best I could, so that the forces like of one army would turn up to the central point way before the other. So by doing that, I was hoping that, you know, one army would turn up, I could kind of focus that one army down, and then, you know, after I've destroyed that army, revert all my forces over to the final army. Unfortunately, my plan didn't kind of work, and all the armies are going to turn up at the right time. Again, I feel like, if I just managed to hold that pass, and my organ gun could have held off the enemy a lot quicker, it would have stopped me from getting flanked on a lot of the positions, and maybe my plan would have worked. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and both the enemy armies are going to be pouring through here very, very soon. We do have Ungrim, though, just taking care of dispatching this unit of 200 zombies, and, you know, he is more than a match for these guys. He could take on 1,000,000 zombies, I am sure. Or he would give his life whilst trying to do that. So he did manage to slay all these zombies, and now he's just going to be pushing back to the inner layers to kind of form up with his men. We formed up a pretty nice defense here. We have a line of iron breakers supported by some iron breakers. or a line of longbeards, I should say, supported by some ironbreakers. The only thing I wish I had here was artillery. Having some artillery to hammer the enemy forces as they come rushing down, as they just, you know, annihilate this unit of quarrelers who are fleeing for their lives. Isabella is getting her fill of blood this battle. And the Crypt Horrors are soon to follow as they continue to push on. So them quarrelers are pretty much destroyed. The Orcs are setting up now. They're waiting for the rest of their forces to form up. These Trolls are almost ready in position. I believe I'm going to be pushing forward a unit of quarrelers in a second to try and start taking pot shots at these guys. But the Orc player is kind of just letting the Vampire Count player get into position and also let his rest of his army form up. Because he did hold back a few units of Black Orcs, a few units of Savage Orcs, and a unit of and a Giant, sorry, as well. So he's going to be holding back all these guys in reserve, and now he's just pushing them up to the main fight itself. So they are in no rush to win this. They also have a Doomdiver Catapult somewhere as well, I believe. Somewhere around here they have a Doomdiver Catapult. They have also their artillery, and then just a stream of Black Orcs as well. And there's the Doomdiver Catapult right there. So the Orcs are definitely in no rush. They have to wait for their undead ally to form up as well. So again, something I could have done is I could have maybe decided to hold this position right here. You know, it's a bit thinner, and obviously the satchel charges could have done plenty of damage to the enemy forces. These quarrelers, are they routing? Are they forming up? I think they're running for their lives right now. Yeah, they're trying to get the hell out of there. What's this? I think this siege crew is routing from a battlefield. Cowards. Crypt Horrors are just holding there. And if we just go down the enemy line, it does look pretty scary. The Claw of the Gash right here. And just a stream of undead. It is just endless. I barely touched the undead army. And we have that reserve line as well of the undead with great weapons. It's going to be some pretty damn scary Graveguard right there. Luckily, though, I do have one thing going for me. I've done plenty of damage to the Orc player. And the Orc player is definitely losing men, that is for sure. He's going to start off his assault by throwing in these Trolls supported by Black Orcs. We're going to get plenty of satchels out, though, as my Dwarfs throw off their satchels onto the Black Orcs, doing tons of damage. That is my only saving grace right now. However, they are going to be pushing in, but I do have my Regiment of Renown right here, holding back against the Black Orcs, who are wounded from the satchels as well. We're about to get a foot of Gork down here onto my soldiers, or my handgunners. Luckily, I managed to get some of them out of there, but it's still going to do a large amount of damage on my gunners. However, the gunners can reform and turn and start taking down these Trolls. We obviously have to worry about the Giant, and we're going to get some nice satchels off of as the enemy does try to retreat. We also have some giants or some Trolls over here, which we managed to get a nice little charge off with my Slayers. And this is going to be just whittling down their HP massively. You can see they're actually just about to rout now, and they're going to be pretty much falling from the battlefield. I'm going to be trying to retreat these guys if I can, because I don't want these guys to be caught up fighting the enemy forces here. As, you know, if they decide to get tied up with the Black Orcs, they're going to get destroyed. Our main line here as well, we have some Crypt Horrors charging in. However, the rest of the forces are going to be moving in. And holy crap, that looks so scary! Holy crap, Crypt Horrors, a Claw of Nagash. That does not look good whatsoever as the Graveguard come pushing in. So I need to pull back these these Slayers as soon as I can and charge in the Longbeards. As again, the Slayers won't be doing too great against these Graveguard, but the Longbeards will be able to hold pretty effectively. The Vampire player is going to be pushing around his Crypt Horrors around the flank. Again, I really like what he's done with these with this Fire Lantern here as well. Because normally I've seen a lot of people use this, but only have like one dwarf statue holding something, and he's kind of used 4 to hold this up. So some undead are going to be being caused up. But my Iron Breakers should be more than enough to take care of them. There's just so many undead. It is literally relenting. And taking out this Claw and Nagash with my cannon was a necessity. Something I definitely didn't do. More zombies being pulled up, but these hammers are ready to give their life. So the final stand is fully erupting right now. We can see the enemy pushing in more and more soldiers. I managed to actually rebuff the first assault from the Orcs, killing several Trolls and killing several Black Orcs as well. So overall, this first little assault was pretty nice. Ungrim got a bit overconfident there, charging off, and he's going to fall back. This right flank vote is in full swing as we have the Hammerers fighting hard against the Black Orcs and the Savage Orcs. And again, they're going to be doing great against the enemy forces. They're obviously not going to be winning because it's 2v1 right now. But if I want any unit here to fight hard, it would be the Hammerers. But obviously, as I mentioned, they have no easy task whatsoever. On this far flank right here, the Longbeards are in full force. But the Claw of Nagash is still here, just causing me such an annoyance, regenerating, giving bonuses to these units. It's just not good for me. I really should have taken this thing out. But these Longbeards will not go down without a fight, that is for sure. I believe this is a white as well, so this is like the Thane for the vampire count. So he's got a special character here, who again is going to be doing great. The battle line is sturdy, but my dwarfs are holding. I'm lucky that I do have these iron breakers back here as well. The fight over on this right-hand flank is fully erupting now. The Orc player is committing everything he has with the support of these Crypt Horrors as well, who are helping from the vampire counts. The vampire counts had a lot of soldiers left remaining, so he's going to be using that. The Quarrelers are here shooting into the trolls. However, the Giant is going to just rip through my Ironbreaker line, make his advance forward onto my Thunderers who were shooting him. Thunderers are going to try and run away, and the Slayers are going to overtake the position, and the Slayers are going to try and deal with this Giant. I feel like I do a really good job at dealing with this Giant, because I pull back these Thunderers any second now, and the Thunderers start shooting at the enemy forces pretty nicely. The main fight, though, is definitely taking its toll on my Dwarven forces. The Ironbreakers are holding back the line for now, but again, it's a sturdy fight. But these Ironbreakers were born in the darkness. They were meant for exact engagements like this, you know, fighting in these closed spaces, in the underways, suited in armor, not seeing daylight for years. Ungrim is here as well, fighting against Grimgor. They are 1v1ing, and I will take Ungrim any day over Grimgor with his abilities, and I'm expecting him to hold the line. Ungrim to defeat Grimgor. I also gave him his Axe of Drago as well, which will do great, I'm hoping, as he just sets aside loads of Black Orcs to get to Grimgor. And this is my hope right now. Isabella even comes down, so at the moment, Ungrim is getting gangbanged by Isabella and Grimgor, which is not good. However, he's going to just turn his back and try and take out Isabella. Isabella is a weaker fighter, so if he can destroy her and kill her forces, that will hopefully set a crumble throughout the entire enemy forces. But Isabella knows that, and she's going to run away on her health steed and just get the hell out of there. Which again is going to kind of break up my formation a little bit. So it's a pretty good move there by the Vampire Count player. The Hammerers are fighting for their Slayer King right now. But it is not enough. This unit of Hammerers is going to fall away very, very soon. We look on the left flank. The Longbeards have been completely destroyed right now, which is, again, just not good. And it's up to my Ironbreakers to hold the line now. It's up to these Ironbreakers, my final stand, to keep back the enemy and hold them at bay. I'm hoping some reinforcements will turn up, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. That is really our only hope. You know, we managed to take out the Giant in pretty easy succession, which is great news. This is going to free up my Thunderers to get some perfect shots off at the Crypt Horrors, who are again causing us just such a nuisance right now. We also do have some Slayers in there, which you can see right there. But I'm really hoping that these Thunderers can do plenty more damage to the Crypt Horrors. We are taking a bit of missile fire as well from the right-hand side. But again, we just need to take down these Crypt Horrors. If we can kill all the creatures, we might be in a much better situation. But the sheer amount of Black Orcs is just super scary. I believe Ungrim is going balls to the wall right now, going after Grimgor, and he did indeed do that. And he has actually managed to rout him from the battlefield. So that is awesome. Grimgor has routed, but that's going to hurt the entire morale of the enemy forces. However, we definitely don't have a lot of men left. We have 700, the enemy have 1800, so it's not all bad. Even though the enemy have a lot of men, we don't have that few either. You know, we're only outnumbered 2-1, which is not too bad. Good odds for any Roman. So the Orc forces are actually going to start to rout now. The Trolls, the Giants, the Giant which we slew, and the rest of the enemy forces are actually going to be falling back from the battlefield, which is great news. We do still have this artillery, which I'm going to have to send some units after. But, you know, killing these Black Orcs and breaking these Black Orcs is great. We have Ungrim going in as well to take care of his Crypt Horrors. Just took care of that one, and this unit of Crypt Horrors is going to go down. So this right flank is looking great. I've managed to smash the Orc army. However, on this right hand, and we'll also just put down a huge Satchel volley here as well, burning all these Black Orcs. So I'm pretty much dealt with the entire Orc army. It's just the amount of soldiers that the Undead have right now. So this battle is just going to go down to the wire right now. And we will fight to the death. Ungrim cannot rout from the battlefield, so he will fight to the bitter end. This will be his tomb, not a mine no longer. So we've got the Doom Diver catapults coming up behind us, which is just an annoyance right now. Satchels going out, and the Claw of Nagash causing me a huge pain in the arse. The undead are going to be pushing forward through my line. Unfortunately, the Iron Breakers were pushed back. However, more explosions coming out, just rattling the undead back to their graves. Claw of Nagash though running on through my main lines. Having Ungrim here would have been great as well. I believe I turn around these Thunderers any second now to help out. But yeah, the nice thing is we've managed to win on the left flank. We're managing to win on this flank as well. And now we kind of just almost have to just solely focus on the enemy pushing down this side. Even though there is a ton of them left, if we can maybe cause a mass rout, then we could possibly claim victory here still. My forces are going to be forming up. You can see my Thunderers now shooting at the Claw of Nagash. If I can take that down, that will cause a huge blow to the enemy forces. And this is something I should have, as I've mentioned several times in this video, I should have focused down this thing ages ago. The undead, however, are relenting. You can see a few more dwarfs holding that line back. But I definitely do not have much left in the tank. Only a few units left. I had to commit a few units over here to try and deal with the artillery. I did not want to carry on getting shot. So I've got a Slayer and a unit of Iron Breakers here just cutting away the artillery. These guys are going to fall back very soon. Exactly, they're going to fall back right now. However, we do have to worry about the Black Hawk coming our way. The enemy forces are now just pushing on. There's a very, very extremely thin line of Iron Breakers here still holding. And they are giving their lives to Ungrim. However, the last stand is now set up. We have Ungrim here fighting against this white. But the dwarfs seem to be routing from the battlefield, which is not good. Our morale is almost completely gone here. And these soldiers are going to abandon their king to torment and death. However, Ungrim is not as easily routed from the battlefield. He made his Slayer oath and he will defend the Slayer keep to the bitter end. So here we go. The final stand of Ungrim is here. And this is glorious, just watching Ungrim fulfill his Slayer oath one way or another. So unfortunately we were defeated. I feel like when I was balancing this battle, I kind of gave the attackers a bit too much money. Because I think even with that extra artillery, I think the enemy would have defeated me. Just because the sheer amount of soldiers the Graveguard had left, the vampires had left. It was just crazy how many men they actually had still remaining on the battlefield. So unfortunately, Ungrim is going to be destroyed. So I think if I play this battle again on this map, what we will do is we'll go ahead and we'll give the attackers a lot less money. But I mean, that does look pretty good, I'm not going to lie. As we just have more and more soldiers pushing on. The last stand of Ungrim. I mean, he still has a bit of fight left in him. He's going to be hitting away at the white and actually almost killing the white king right now. So that's pretty good. You know, he's going to take down as many soldiers as possible. I didn't even realize he managed to kill this guy. Maybe he doesn't manage to kill him, but he definitely does plenty of damage. And we can just see the Graveguard there forming up on the victory which they have taken. And that does not look good at all for us, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe we can do like a Dowie crusade to reclaim this fortress, and we'll have dwarfs attacking against the Graveguard and the rest of the undead forces. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like to see kind of a reclaiming of this fortress. It'd be a really fun battle to do if you guys want to see that. So maybe I'll do that, maybe I won't. If I do, I'll probably do it on stream though. So let's look at the kills. We can see that Ungrim getting 72 kills, which is great. Longbeard's doing okay. I really feel like if I could have held that right flank and realized that they could push men through the swamp, I would have easily been able to just rack up more kills, dealing with the Orc force a lot quicker, and then being able to turn my entire army round to help maybe try and give me a better chance against the Von Carsteins. Unfortunately, that was not the case. You see my Organ got 300 kills, and it still had so much ammunition left. If I could have used that more effectively, I think victory would have been mine. Maybe. There's a possibility. Rest of my artillery, even though it got taken out, still did loads of damage. So, again, it's just a shame that I didn't protect these guys a bit better. But overall, forces did pretty well. Look at the enemy, the Graveguard doing great. Cryptora is doing amazing. These Vargeist obviously paying for themselves. And the Orc force as well. We can see the artillery doing great and the infantry doing pretty decently. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to drop a like and a comment if you did. Let me know about the other battle. And I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.